Asuka is the final ban, and Tigers pick up the Kunkka.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Yeah. This is it's gonna be hard to kill again because that boat buff is immense and you have the Pugna for healing. I think the main thing here is that their split push is gonna be really strong. Kunkka can split push as well if he has his own boots of travel. It's just X mark himself, go into a lane, shove it out, and go back home. Relatively safe. Until, of course, LOTAC buys Yules, and then it's not quite safe. But there's a certain period of time where you can just split push safely as Kunkka. Nature's Prophet split pushes quite well, of course, and the Pugna can shove out lanes quite nicely. So the push potential from Tigers is really good. The durability is there, given by Kunkka. The team fight's there from Earthshaker. Pugna's there with the Nether Ward to really break off any big initiation. And they have really good scaling with Morphling. So I do like Tigers draft this time. It does look much better than game one, but LOTAC goes with the Ohio Batrider. Hmm.
This is a weird draft from LOTAC. I mean, I don't want to say weird, but it feels weird. Like, there's a lot of heroes that aren't necessarily amazing. I don't know. How do you feel about this draft from the Dire side?
It's definitely odd. It's definitely odd, but we did, game one, their draft was also odd, Mike, and they made it work really well. So I wouldn't doubt low tack too hard now. Maybe this is something they've practiced in scrims, something they keep pocketed up. I can I can see it snowballing off in the early game. Definitely stronger in that early game area, I think. But they don't want to force it late. Not against a Morphling. Sure, you have the Terrorblade as well, but I think overall the Morphling just grows much, much bigger than the TB at some point. I don't know. It's a toss-up. Again, it's not a matchup we've seen too much of, Terrorblade against Morphling. At least not much of in a while.
Well, we've got an interesting
And
game
if
to
I
watch here.
just wanted to point out, Mike, it's
Yeah.
1437 Nature's Prophet.
Okay, so support Nature's Prophet, we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that. Again, because you have Sepher on that Earthshaker, he's gonna have to be making plays as a pause forward, but Nature's Prophet is really not a selfless support.
That is a good point. Like, this is very it's a greedy lineup from Tigers. There's no doubting that. Everyone on the team certainly wants quite a bit of farm and level before they really start going. Mind you, later on in the game, yeah, they're going to be a problem. There's no doubting that. But we're going to see if Tigers can pull this off and push it to a game 3. Otherwise, of course, LOTAC, they definitely want to be able to try and take this 2-0. The less games you have to play in the lower bracket, the better. Obviously, they will have more games for later on today, I believe. And so you will want to rest up and see what the other teams are up to.
I like what I see.
Ah, shit. Seemingly liking what he sees, John. I haven't seen much of In Your Dream Kunkka. I mean, like, the Lina is one of his specials. The Kunkka, I believe we've seen it a couple times. I believe he's pretty darn good at it, but I'm not sure. Do you think he's going to have a bigger influence than what he did in Game 1?
I think the Kunkka does have the potential to be that active as well. Once you hit level 6, you should have your enough in your kit to burst someone down, for the most part, as long as you have a support to help you out with setting up. If you can't catch them out with, if you don't prioritize X or you go max Tidebringer first, you're gonna need a little help, but once you get that help, it's pretty much a good kill. I can definitely see in your dream being active early on with this hero, but it's not as bursty as Lena. Definitely not as bursty.
AU. Not going to fight over this bounty, it seems. He's just going to let it go. Meanwhile, top lane, they had a bit of an engagement, but the side of the Radiant actually managed to get it. And again, it does look like they're going to start with 3 bounty runes on the side of Tigers. So they do end up getting that great start again on the Radiant end. It's just a matter of whether they can transition that into the mid game now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty early
Again,
to say that anyway, but
yeah, it's the same thing in game one. I mean, as you mentioned, they grabbed 3 bounties. They kind of did okay in the early game, but then just kind of dropped off in the late. So really have to watch out. Keep that tempo going.
of course I should mention Chuan is actually the one playing Necro. I assumed it would have been Ohio earlier on in the draft, but this is a mid Necro up against the Kunkka. Certainly, I feel like the right choice, I would argue, because you see a lot of these lane matchups, the Kunkka ends up dominating whoever he's up against, thanks to that Tidebringer, but Necro is seemingly one of those heroes that doesn't really care. He just heals through it anyway.
Yeah, definitely so. As long as Necrophos is not being zoned out of last hits, he can definitely sustain the lane. And, you know, he just needs a few levels to really go a bit wild to regen.
Well, he already forces that in your dream to throw out that early salve. And we'll see how in your dream deals with this. Top lane, Raven, trying to get some farm up himself, but he's being annoyed a bit. Obviously, there is Zephyr there with the Fisher, trying to block him off from the creep wave. Yamate will be there on the silencer though, so that Arcane Curse spam should help him out quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely so. I think the one issue with this lane up top is that Raven, you know, Terrorblade, he can take right clicks all day. Ooh.
1437. A very nice courier snipe. There was no items on there, mind you, but that gold influx is very nice early on. Not to mention, I mean, they're not going to have a courier for the next 2 minutes, which, I mean, it's going to be hard to contest this mid lane now when you can't, you know, have that regen coming in. They will try to punish 1437 at the bot lane, and it looks like he will just end up dropping here. Ohio managing to get away from there safely. So he gets the courier, but he gives away first blood.
Yeah. Still kind of worthwhile. Again, that gold is pretty good from Courier. First Blood is not team-wide as well, so I think overall the Courier is higher value. As you mentioned as well, it slows down mid lane because Chuan now has no Courier access. Although I think, to be honest, Necrophos is probably one of the few mids that doesn't really care for for Courier access because it's very self-sufficient.
Yeah. I have to agree. I mean, Chuan doesn't... Yeah, he's not going to be bothered by this at all. He managed to get the tangos out anyway before it died, so he's got the tangos available if he requires them. But he probably honestly won't anyway. Yamate falling quite low at the top lane. Does manage to back off to safety. Meanwhile, bot lane, Ohio pulling 2 creep.
Dream is really low. Forced to use the salve again.
A lot of gold going towards that regen for In Your Dream. May make him fall slightly behind if he continues to buy up this regen. And he will need to buy more. Chuan is not going to allow him to just farm here freely for sure. Like, he's going to continue applying this pressure. And Yamate, again, will die to the Dire. But he will, you know, he does this on purpose basically just to be able to respawn very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's the smarter play. It does cost you a bit in giving gold away, but you don't sacrifice your respawn time because dying to neutrals is just really costly now in terms of time wasted.
In Your Dream, gonna spot out AU. There's nobody really there to help out AU if he does initiate. And Chuan not at that level 6 mark yet, so the rotation was slightly early. He will probably just... I was going to say back off, but it looks like he wants to stick around for a bit. Ohio, meanwhile, bot lane. He's having a good old time. Doesn't really seem like he needs the help of the task. In fact, he might go on 1437 soon. AU is here, the Firefly, committed as well. Ajit making a bit of a chase. With that adaptive strike, doing a lot of damage. Ohio just got that bounty rune. That's really all he wanted. And now they might turn around for 1437. AU, he does have the snowball. And he has a regeneration rune, so he can afford to take this kind of harassment. Side of
That is
Tigers.
a lot of bottles in one lane.
Yeah.
Ohio's a bottle. Tusk has a bottle. I mean, how do you keep them top up?
Apparently they can. They're doing so. Ohio, he continues to pull this creep wave over. This is all this, it's making Ajit's life a hell of a lot harder. Although AU might end up dropping. They run back because they assume the snowball's on them, but it's not. AU, though, he just stood still for a bit. Though he somehow manages to get out of there safely anyway.
Oh,
1437.
1437.
Oh, the problem is Ohio is there with that another creep skip. And AU, I don't know how he just walked out of there. Like really, how does he actually manage to just get out of there safely?
You know, I'm actually not sure. I think it was odd because he hesitated to walk a bit, and I thought that might be enough to get one right click off, but then he also had like 2 charges left in his bottle. Top lane though.
Yeah. Do you try to have a go? But Yamate gonna be fine. Raven will also be fine. Now AU is here as well. The snowball will be there on the Earthshaker. Will it actually connect? No, it will not. But the shards will. Fisher is there, but he blocks himself into the actual shards. He will try to TP out, and he will do so successfully. AU already commits that snowball, so there was no further stun left. Meanwhile, Ohio ends up dropping at the bot lane, and we see In Your Dream making his first rotation. He did commit the boat for that, but it's well worth it. And Ohio, it's going to slow down that Blink Dagger timing quite a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, this is the tendency that In Your Dream has. When he hits level 6, he doesn't ask for a support rotation to mid. He himself rotates to the side lanes, which is, you know, this is something you came to expect from your mid laner way before. Maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago in pubs. That's what the mid laners did. And now they usually have the support rotate in, but In Your Dream still keeps doing that himself, getting plays done by himself.
Top lane, a bit of a mistake from AU. He missed the shards on Moon Meander, and now he might lose his own life because of this. He's trying to make a run for it. Zephyr is there with the enchant totem hit, and the Fisher as well. Zephyr will pick that one up for himself. Of course, any kill for Zephyr right now is going to help a lot because he's trying to farm a Blink Dagger of his own. Meanwhile, bot lane, Ajit actually chasing the Batrider into the Batrider form, and Ajit will find the kill. Ohio with the double dots. It was pretty hilarious using Sticky Napalm and Firefly against the Batrider. Meanwhile, top lane.
Down.
Yeah, top lane, Raven getting very, very low. He does have the Sunder, snowball in. They want to Sunder Moon Meander immediately, and they will do so. Raven, he's still in massive trouble, but AU should be able to get the kill. In fact, Raven does now. He wants to get out, but the Fisher barely connects. Zephyr, he has to get out of here safely now as well. Yamate is there with the Arcane Curse, but now he's in trouble. He does want through it. And that'll be it. A call for a call. I think it works out a bit better for Tigers anyway, though, because you definitely want the Terrorblade over the Pugna.
Yeah, it definitely works out a bit better for Tigers here. Slowing down this Terrorblade's farm is really pertinent. You don't want him to get too much HP early on. Don't want to let him buy those kinds of items early, so really pertinent there.
Oh, top lane. AU trying to dodge a gank. Zephyr continuing the chase. Those treants being very frustrating. AU looks like he will end up dropping, and they get the T1 as well. Ohio, meanwhile, drops bot lane, and AU still alive, but he will finally end up dying. And Ohio again dies for the second time to In Your Dream and the Morphling. And you know, you talked about how In Your Dream makes those rotations instead of waiting for his supports. I like that old school mentality. I personally like it. It brings back some good memories. Zephyr, top lane. Sticky Napalm's coming out from Ohio. He still hasn't hit the level 6 mark, so he hasn't even got the lasso yet. And again, that Blink Dagger timing, it's going to hurt a bit for him because, well, he's died twice in the last minute or so.
Yeah, it definitely hurts your timing like that, and doesn't even really have a jungle to go back to because his Terrorblade is clearing that out himself as well.
Bot lane. Chuan, they're trying to go after Ajit, but AU is in trouble. Snowball is there. The Reapers is available, but Ajit is quite hard to kill. He is strength morphing throughout all this now. Does stun him up. And that'll be it. So 7-2. Tigers with a very nice lead early on. And again, you look at that net worth lead. They've got it once again in game 2. That 5k net worth lead very early on. It's problematic, especially because LOTAC, they don't necessarily have the later game draft this time around. So they can't just try and be defensive and drag out the game again. It's not going to work this time.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, the Terrorblade is a pretty good carry as well. It's not the biggest late game carry though. It does carry its own issues as well. And here we are, Mike. Pauses. Oh, that was quick.
How unfortunate.
Yeah, really unfortunate, Mike. I'm take a look at this Morphling, Mike. Right now it's a Tusk. And I mean, how many escape tools can a Morphling have? 4. Right now he has around 3. Shards are great, snowballs there, and waveforms there. And that's really balanced, Mike.
It is. Mid lane, they are going to be able to find the Necro, so Chuan getting ganked up, and they might just push in this mid lane with the Pugna. The Treants are there from the Nature's Prophet as well. No backdoor protection for the tier 1s, and they'll get started immediately. Yamate is there with AU, but they can't defend this on their own. They need at least one core to help them out here. And it looks like they aren't cupping. And now Yamate going to be in trouble. Snowball does not get there in time, but Yamate will be alright. Now the Fisher as well. The T1 will end up dropping. And a quick smoke coming out straight away. And Tigers, look who they're going to run into. Poor Ohio is there trying to farm up. Meanwhile, 1437 apparently going down to Raven on that Terrorblade. But Ohio, I wonder if he realizes how much trouble he's in right now. Well, now he definitely does, because he's been X'd up by In Your Dream, gets stunned up with a torrent, and Moon Meander will just suck him dry. It's a killing spree for the Pugna. And I'd hate to say it for the 3rd time, but that Blink Dagger is going to be delayed even further.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good timing for this Blink. I mean, Ohio just has no space to farm right now. Again, Raven is the priority. They're giving him most of the safe jungle to farm up. Ohio has to take these risky moves in the larger jungle where they've already lost their tier 1. So they don't really have too much control there. And I mean, that's the way it has to go. The Terrorblade definitely takes priority.
Well, Zephyr going to get caught out. Raven might be able to find himself a nice pick up. In fact, no, they'll use the Reapers to get that one. So Chuan will pick that one up for himself. Interesting to note that the Rod of Atos is the item choice of Chuan, it seems. Wants to be able to deal with that Morphling, I'd assume. And even the Earthshaker later on, it'll be quite useful. In fact, top lane, Ohio managed to get Moon Meander. They looks like they committed that lasso this time around, and they get a nice pick off.
You know, the pace of this game is starting to remind me of Game 1, Mike. You kind of saw the same thing happen. Tigers won the early game, but if they give these kind of senseless kills away again, I mean, Ohio's just, what, 500 gold away from Blink? And once he has that up, I think he's happy.
It's pretty much all he needs. Things start to escalate once that Blink is available. Ajit diving quite deep for Yamate. He does not get him. The Warrior's Punch is there. Shards will end up connecting. A nice morph from Ajit. Now can he get out though? Chuan will get snowballed on. The boat comes in as well. It will connect on Chuan. Ajit still fighting around in that morph form. And Chuan is starting to fall very, very low, although he does heal himself up. But here comes Moon Meander on that Pugna. And Chuan somehow alive still through all this, but he is going to end up dropping eventually. And now the tier 2 bot tower will be the target. And it will be a very easy target for this draft of Tigers to take down.
Yeah, it doesn't take them too long to push down towers now. Again, with that Pugna, with Nature's Prophet, pretty fast push coming out. And that does kind of make up for the fact that they did lose a couple of, they did give away a couple of senseless kills. They've gotten the entirety of the bot lane now. They have a nice ward out as well, although that was spotted out by Ohio. Good game sense.
Hey, you will take care of it. 12-5 now. 6k net worth lead remains. It does look like Ajit is going to be able to get that Lincoln Sphere very, very soon. So the Bat Rider not going to be able to lasso him up that easily. And the Reaper Scythe as well going to be a bit of a pain. It does look like they are looking for a kill attempt though. AU trying to find somebody. In Your Dream, going to scout this out. He is in that invis right now, and Ohio will manage to get the lasso. They want to go straight onto Moon Meander. Meanwhile, in the backlines, they do go after the Earthshaker, and Zephyr is in massive, massive trouble. It looks like he would try and Fisher through this, but he does end up dropping. They go for even more, but nobody's really left. So 2 go down for nothing. LOTAC going to be very happy about those two pickoffs.
Yeah, and I can't help but compare this again to game one, Mike. We saw the same thing happening. They were behind. They get one key initiation item and one hero, which is Ohio's Blink this time. And then they play around their big cooldowns. They're always going to play around Global Silence now. Tigers needs to adapt and know that when Global Silence is off, they can't fight.
Oh, bot lane. 1437 ends up dropping, but Ohio gives his own life away for it. It's hard to know whether these kills are worth it. I mean, that's a position 5 Nature's Prophet that you just took down for the sake of your position 3 Bat Rider. It certainly doesn't seem very worthwhile for Ohio to take that kill.
Yeah, he still gained gold in the end, but he gave a bit more to Moon plus Mr. In Your Dream, so they get a little bit more out of that.
You're going to find AU as well on that task. He does have the snowball, and he actually goes up the Ancients, but no! It drops him back down.
He was X-marked anyway.
Yeah.
No way he was going to get out of that one.
It was a nice play, though, to shard the Ancients to get the vision, but still, like you said, it was inevitable that he was going to end up dropping.
Yeah. Kind of unfortunate, though, that the snowball actually didn't drag him up as well. Just by the cliff. Oh, look at that. Moon Meander's just standing at the back, dropping down the Nether Blast, and that tower just melts.
Well, this is the play, right? Like, why risk your team if you can just do this?
Yeah, that's really the power of Pugna. Oh, no, Chuan?
Oh, well, the lasso comes in to help out, so Chuan available for the moment. Nice shards! Blocks everyone in. The boats coming in that are trying to help out. 1437, he will end up dropping now In Your Dream. Going after AU. Ohio, there's the Global Silence. AU should end up dropping, and he will, and it looks like LOTAC. They can't follow up on the silence. Now Chuan just trying to back off to safety. The life drain is there. The X was there as well. Fisher barely connects, and Chuan, he will end up dropping to Arjit. It looked so bad for Tigers once that shards came out into the Global Silence, John, but they just could not finish them off. And you know what? I just realized Raven wasn't involved in that team fight at all. He's still just trying to farm the Manta.
I think that's fine. I think you don't want to risk your Terrorblade being in that fight because he has such little HP. And there's so much magic damage coming out from Tigers that it's a big risk dragging out your Terrorblade there. If you can take a fight 4v5, take it. Because you want your Terrorblade to grow bigger for a bit more. I think the...
Ohio? My goodness. Oh, they commit the echo on him. Yeah. You can blink, sir, but you ran back in and you gave the opening. Zephyr says thank you very much.
You know, in that last fight by this ramp, Mike, this ramp by the tier 2, I think the key issue was that the shards was amazing. Ohio threw them out with a flame break.
Oh, did he really? I didn't even spot that.
Yes. They were inside, and then he pushed 2 of them out.
Oh,
they could have cleaned up.
Well, they found AU as well in the mid lane, and he just, Moon Meander with that life drain. Just deals so much damage with the Decrepify. Things are getting better and better for Tigers. Raven just trying to hide in some trees right now. They're going to spot him, Raven. He runs towards the shrine. The Fisher was there, though, Zephyr. Can they burst him? The Manta is there. Ohio to save the day. The Metamorphosis, they'll take out the Earthshaker. Now Moon Meander actually gets him, just barely. Chuan trying to find the return, but here comes In Your Dream with the boat torrent. He actually screws up the X, though. He pressed it way too early. Meanwhile, 1437 ended up dropping in the backlines again to Ohio. Chuan manages to walk out of there. Again, a small mistake from In Your Dream. Just clicking on that E button a bit too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he felt like he had to go fast. I think that's fair enough. Really unfortunate Raven had to die there. He had Sunder up. I almost feel like it would have been worthwhile to swap his HP with Chuan. I think Terrorblade definitely takes the priority right now. I think I would have actually not blamed him if he let Chuan die instead. Because you want your Terrorblade to be keeping up.
Well, speaking of dying, Ohio ends up dying top lane. He was trying to push that creep wave out, but he's unsuccessful in doing so. There will be 2 bounty runes at the top to be taken as well by the side of Tigers, and they will smoke up. Question is, who are they really going to find? It does appear Chuan might be on the menu. Zephyr got that blink dagger up. He's ready to jump in. Yamate is there. He places an observer ward. They've got to know Chuan is around there somewhere. Although Zephyr looking around for Yamate, it seems. They will find nobody. Chuan probably not realizing how close to death he just was. Now they're going to focus on the tier 3 tower. Why the hell not?
Yeah, and you know, again, with that Pugna, it's a relatively safe push.
It's already down by half HP. Now the X-Torrent, again, it's missed though. Yamate, he just walks out of it. Why is he Xing so quickly? Like, is he afraid of the global silence or? Like,
I think that might be it. That constant fear puts him on edge.
but wouldn't it just be worth it to waste it?
I suppose it would be, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the mindset. The only thing I can think of is, yeah, maybe global silence. Maybe he's worried about them blinking out or snowballing for the save, so he just tries to break that combination immediately, and you know, hope for the best.
Looks like the LOTAC guys are on the offensive now. Ohio already starting to look for somebody in that tree line, but they are all across the map. So, side of Tigers, they might just go for a quick Roshan. Tier 2 bot will end up dropping, and Raven, he might just keep pushing the tier 3. If they realize the Roshan's being taken, it's just get into Metamorphosis and force them back. The Roshan, though, is going down fairly quickly. And they are not going to push the tier 3 bot, which indicates they have no clue what's going on. Now Roshan going to be given away for free to the side of Tigers. Jit really going to enjoy that, considering he's almost unkillable as it stands already. And now you've got to try and kill him twice. Things are getting better and better for this Radiant, and I like LOTAC. They're still in this game, but it's certainly not as great as last game for them. Like, around this time, they were coming back, whereas now they're still falling quite behind, at the very least, on that Terrorblade.
Yeah, definitely so. Raven is still about 3k behind Ajit right now. Not the greatest discrepancy you want. I feel like the power spike for Raven here is that BKB. If you can get it in the next 5 to 8 minutes, you're going to be able to take a quite fair few fights, because a lot of the damage coming out right now from Tigers is magic outside of the Morphling, but most of it is magic. So once you have that BKB, they can't really control Terrorblade up, and Morphling will have to eat through a lot of armor
But look
to
at
kill
LOTAC.
off the Terrorblade.
Look at the positioning here from LOTAC, John. They're by the shrine. They're just waiting out them to push the tier 3, and they smoke up. Tier 3 has actually ended up going down thanks to Moon Meander, and they will loop around here. LOTAC, they understand they got to take a fight sooner rather than later. In your dream, he breaks the smoke. He hasn't realized yet, though. And have they yet? Zephyr, who's going to be the target? Oh, in your dream, what a blink out. And now Ajit, he'll get started on Ohio. This looks really bad for the side of LOTAC. Moon Meander getting very, very low. They'll eventually get Raven, though. And now Moon Meander, he starts life draining Ajit on a triple kill. They call GG.
24 minutes in?
Did you? Oh, I mean, come on. Did you see in your dream? He blinked out immediately after Ohio blinks in to try to lasso him, and then it was just like, what can you do? They're gonna push way too fast.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's just, you know, it's very different from game 1, wasn't it? Like, I feel like they have to work on their draft a bit, because LOTAC plays a lot better when they have a big team fight they could work around. Right now, in this game, they really only had a lot of great single target control. The only big, AoE kind of crowd control they had was like global silence, I guess. You could consider that control, maybe a snowball. Otherwise, most of it was really single target. If they can get something that can force team fights, I think you'd be much happier with the result. But, very well played from Tigers. They really just, this was pretty convincing, Mike. 24-11, 24 minutes in, 13k net worth lead, and they just forced the tap out.
Hey man, I'm just happy that we're going to a game 3. We've only got one series today, John. We may as well make the absolute best of it. Both these teams playing for their lives, for this tournament life, I should say. I mean, and it's a big deal. It's the first major of the year, isn't it?
Yes, it is, man.
So I mean, it's like it's such a big deal to get your season off right, to get the momentum. I mean, I realize